Well, it's only 6 games left to go in the regional Liga season here as we do look for promotion up to the free Liga at Lokomotive Leipzig these days. We are 7 points clear of our rivals in Energy Cottbus, and coming up today we play 2 of our next 3 games, and hopefully there is a chance that we can wrap up the title, but also if we do slip up there is a chance that we begin what I imagine would be one of the biggest bottle jobs in German footballing history. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 7 of the Leipzig Loko with Lokomotive Leipzig here on Sean Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up today we play 2 of our next 3 games on camera. We take on Babelsberg at home, those guys currently in 7th, and then off the back of taking on bottom of the table Lokomotive away from home, we also travel to take on a BFC Dynamo team who we did play an early season thriller 3-3 draw against early on last week. So if you're looking forward to those 2 games in today's episode, as well as we should get our youth intake during today's episode as well, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but you may have noticed our gap on top of the league table has shrunk just a little bit off the back of yesterday's episode. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner in that episode. We did play our second derby of the season against Leipzig and also took on at that stage quite high up the table Alklianiki. Thankfully picked up fairly comfortable 2-0 wins over both those teams at this stage of the season. As mentioned during that episode, the gaps in between games are now 2 weeks. Off the back of that, we started off very well with a 6-2 win over Rot-Weiss Erfurt. This was a very good performance, one of our better ones of the season, so we did stay 10 points clear, albeit off the back of this game, we did suffer an injury to Panzu Ernesto, and that alongside the fact that going into yesterday's episode we did lose Saluski, our usual starting left back, did mean both our first choice wing backs were unavailable for the next 2 games, and as you can see, we did suffer our second defeat of the season, and it was to Hertha Berlin 2-1 at home as well, which was really disappointing. We conceded a very early goal in this game, got an equaliser with 10 minutes to go in the first half, but only a few minutes later they did grab a winning goal. Not much happened in the second half of this game. Truth be told, Isadogan in this one had a rather forgettable game with a 6.3, but even considering that, overall not as dominant as we are used to being in this game based on stats. Only a few more shots, and shots on target was exactly the same, so can't complain too much about that result, albeit Isadogan, as I said, did have a bit of a shocker in goal. And of course Energy Cottbus, they continued to win while we did lose that game. That is why the gap has shrunk down to 7 points going into today's episode. Thankfully got back on track in our next game away at TB Berlin, albeit it was a little bit iffy there for a while. We went 1-0 up early, again thanks to Ricardo Grimm, another first goal scorer for him. Then just past the hour mark though, they did grab an equaliser, thankfully. Only a few minutes later, we did grab a double through both the replacement right back for Panzu Ernesto and Eric Zufak, as well as Kevin Zizek off of the bench in an injury time. They did grab one more goal back, but thankfully we did hold on to pick up all 3 points, which does mean with 6 games left in the season, we are 7 points clear. We should still be seeing this out to get promoted up to the free Liga, but Energy Cottbus are putting a little bit of pressure on us, so if we do slip up a little bit more in these last 6 games, there is a chance we could bottle this, and of course it is just the winner of the league that does get promoted up to the free Liga. Also worth noting, we are only 6 points away from setting a new record for this division. If we do achieve that and don't get promoted, that would be a little bit frustrating. But as I mentioned, we did have some injuries during the course of those last few games. Thankfully, both of those players who were injured in Panzu Ernesto and Mike Saluski are back available now, albeit Saluski only recommended for 45 minutes. He will make his way back from the bench in this upcoming game, but hopefully now with everyone available except for Mark Lamptey, who is on international duty, albeit we don't use him too much anyway, just an emergency backup because his appearance fee is quite significant. But back to our usual best 11 available for this game. First up, in today's episode, we are going to take on Babelsberg. They currently find themselves 7th on the league table, come to this one off the back of only one win in their last 5 games over Chemie Leipzig, and off the back of that, they have lost their last 2. Hopefully, with this one being at home, we can pick up 3 more points, and maybe if Energy Cottbus do slip up, we could put ourselves in a position off the back of that Lokomotive game where we could steal the title in the second one of today's episode, albeit that is still a fair way away in game a month's time when we do take on BFC Dynamo. But hopefully we can get off to a good start in today's episode and maybe stretch our lead on top of the regional Liga Nordost, and we'll come back shortly and get stuck into the action as we take on Babelsberg from the Bruno Plaka Stadion. And a quick look at the team sheets for this first game of today's episode, mainly to check out Babelsberg, because we did run through our team before. As I said, Zimmer starts at left back with Saluski, only recommended for 45 minutes. Babelsberg, they are playing a 4-3-3, so quite similar to us, albeit a little bit different in terms of up front, where they are a lot narrower, but based on league position, with this one being at home. Hopefully, we can pick up 3 more points and get closer to securing promotion to the Free Liga. And eventually we get the first highlight of this game. It's taken until just past the half-hour mark. So far, we have looked the better team based on stats, except the fact we have so far not got a shot on target, so we are leaving the door open for our opposition. Great ball there from Ernesto back into the team, but unfortunately, from a tight angle, the goalkeeper does make a save on that shot, but we do get a chance here from a corner. We look there for the far post to Heinke. Unfortunately, though, the opposition will head that one away, but now off the back of that, another highlight in quick succession. Good chance there for Eagles there, albeit this time as header straight down the line at the goalkeeper, who will tip that one over the bar. So thankfully, starting to get a few shots on target now, albeit not enough to get past the goalkeeper. And our corners so far today have not been too accurate. This highlight, we'll see if they can do anything down the left-hand side. They can't, but we're starting to pick up momentum late in this first half with only a few minutes left. Still 0-0. And that was it for the first half. As you saw, we only got a few highlights there just past the half-hour mark, but really, it's been a bit of an average performance so far. Only 3 shots on target, the opposition with 2, and it does sort of resemble what did happen in that Hertha 2 game a few back, where we did suffer defeat, despite the fact the stats were slightly in our favour. Hopefully this time we can kick on in the second half. Not too many poor ratings out there in terms of our players, so I don't think we'll make any substitutions. We'll just tell the guys that they need to do better in the second half, and hopefully we can pick up some goals in the second half. We'll get it back underway, still 0-0. And only 5 minutes into the second half, we are going to make our first substitution here, because Zimmer has picked up a yellow card, also down to a 6.5 rating. Saluski, of course, can play 45 minutes off the bench, so hopefully he can make an impact and help us grab a goal to get in front. And only a few minutes off the back of that substitution, we do get a throw-in down this left-hand side, and Saluski here on the ball does try and find Fefa there inside the box, but it is the Babelsberg able to clear their lines, albeit Ernesto starts to make his way inside the box, picks out Abdullah Mane. That is a very good header right into that top right corner, and our wing-backs back in the team already contributing in this first game back. You can see Ernesto there, the best rating of our players, on a 7.2. That could be quite a big goal, as well as you can see, it is Energy Cottbus with a 2-0 lead at the moment over Berliner, but that is a goal, thankfully, finally, about 10 minutes into the second half, and we do go 1-0 up, and now it's 3-1 in that Energy Cottbus game, so ideally, we would be picking up a win in this one, and we do have a highlight not too long off the back of that opening goal. We eventually get the ball back, nice flick on there from Fefa for Grimm. We pick out a Tilgen, back to Heinke. Now Abdullah Mane with a shot as well blocked, and the Babelsberg goalkeeper will come and claim that one. Hopefully we can get the ball back and create another chance in this one. We're just hitting it around, eventually find a Tilgen in a little bit of space down this left-hand side. Tries to pick out a ball there for Ziani, but the Babelsberg defence do deal with that. Now the goalkeeper will play this one deep, but thankfully Heinke wins that one, and now Grimm starts to make his way down this right-hand side. Nice ball there for Ziani. Big chance, but misses it. We should be 2-0 up, but it is still 1-0 in our favour. And yet another highlight off the back of that previous one. Ziani, that was a massive chance there to put us 2-0 in front, but Babelsberg will put a nice ball over the top here for Fran, but thankfully Eagles does get back and just get in the way of that one before he can unleash a shot. Now Tilgan switches this one out to Pfeffer again, picks out a nice ball there for Grimm. On the first touch, looks for a ball there for Ziani, but can't quite find him. Thankfully, Babelsberg with a ball over the top don't quite link up, and eventually Ziani played through from a Tilgan. Doesn't take him long to make up that big miss only a few minutes ago, and a big flurry of highlights here about 10 minutes into the second half, and thankfully we do now grab a cushion goal and do go 2-0 up. A Tilgan finds Ziani this one, a tight angle, but thankfully beats the goalkeeper and just sneaks that one inside that near post and makes it 2-0, just shy of the hour mark. And while we are here, it might be time for us to maybe think about making a substitution, especially off the back of Eagles either picking up a yellow card, will also drop back to positive to hopefully make sure we are solid defensively for this last half hour. But Urban can come on at centre back off the back of us taking that 2-0 lead. And going forward only a few more minutes, and we do have a free kick here right on the halfway line. Saluski already making an impact back from injury, coming off the bench for Zimmer, but we hold the ball here just playing short passes at the moment and switching it out to this right-hand side where Ernesto is having a very good game at right back. Just holds the ball up here, starts to cut inside, plays that one all the way back to Isadogan, who thankfully today going a lot better than he did in that Hertha Berlin 2 game. Now he should switch this one out to the left-hand side, albeit Search picks out Ernesto there down that right-hand side, plays that one back to Urban. Now we do switch it out left for Saluski. There's a bit of space here if he does want to try and find someone like a Tilgan. Doesn't do so yet, but picks out Ziani. He will grab a double in pretty quick succession. Our wingbacks here, our first choice ones back from injury, having a big impact on this game, and Ziani does grab a double. Really should have a hat-trick with that big chance that he did miss around about 8 minutes ago in game, but Saluski floats this one into the mix. We're actually been quite good today with our heading inside of the box. Abdulrahmane with a goal earlier. Now Ziani, and that should wrap up all 3 points. 3-0 with just under a half hour left. And just making our way inside the last 20 minutes of this one, I think it might be time for us to make our last substitutions in this game. We can take a few players off, still got 3 substitutes left. With this final stoppage, we'll take off Ernesto playing well, but coming back from injury might be a safe option, so Vufak can come on for him. Also Heinke as well as Grimm only on okay rating, so Piplica and Weigel will come on for those two in the midfield for these last 20 minutes off the back of us going 3-0 up. And we're into the last few minutes of this game. Not much has happened off the back of those last few substitutions that we did make. Just seeing there that Abdulrahmane has picked up a yellow card. We'll get him to ease off tackles. That might actually mean he does miss our next game, albeit that's not the worst thing. Taking on the worst team in the league in Lokomotive could certainly be against some tougher opposition, but in the end we certainly kicked into gear in that second half, as you saw, quite even at half time at that second half. Well and truly on the front foot, goals through Abdulrahmane and a double to Ziani does mean that we pick up in the end a fairly comfortable 3-0 win, albeit as you saw that first half certainly improved on that in the second, and hopefully that does mean that we may have extended the gap on Energy Cottbus, albeit when we did last get an update on that game, they were beating Berliner 3-1, and indeed that is how that scoreline did stay, so we are still 7 points clear on top of the table. We'll come back shortly, either from a recap from the game where we take on bottom of the table Lokomotive, we would expect us to pick up 3 points, or we might get our youth intake before then. So a good win in the end in the first game of today's episode, and as you can see only a few days later, still 10 days out from taking on Lokomotive, the team on bottom of the table, we have got our first youth intake here at Lokomotive Leipzig. We won't spend too long on this, even though some of these players could actually become quite important in this save. It was rated as an excellent intake, albeit not too sure if that's entirely accurate, but to be fair, we've got one very talented player potential-wise coming through this season's youth intake, and that is Danny Hermel, 1.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, a right winger, so could be a good player to come in place of Sasha Pfeffer if he does not stay at the club for next season. A player at the moment I am leaning towards letting go of, seeing as he will be at that stage 37 and 38 years old during the course of next season, but a right winger with a lot of potential who can also play centrally in an attacking position. So that's a good player that we have coming through there in our youth intake with 5-star potential, albeit only 4 of those stars are gold. We've also got quite a few top talents who we will be signing to the club. First up, we've got Dominic Balde, 1-star current ability, 4-star potential as a goalkeeper. Another one who looks pretty similar in terms of current ability and potential as a right winger. Another one in Lars Lucas Schorsch, I believe is how you might pronounce that last name, albeit being a new gen, we don't need to worry about the pronunciation quite so much, and also a few players with 3.5-star potential. We are probably going to assign, we've got a left back here in Johan Beersdorf. We make our way down the list a little bit further. We've also got Sven Barweld, a left back who can also cover right back. Continuing down the list of the top talents as well as that Johan Kappler, yet again a right winger who can play centrally, so certainly a lot of right wing options coming through this season's youth intake. That makes it free. And going down a bit further, we've also got an out-and-out right back who can also play at centre back. And in the midfield, in Heiko Schinker, and below that a few players with 3-star potential or lower. Not too sure if we are going to sign any of those good talents or those decent talents, but certainly some players who in the future could make some appearances in the first team here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Apparently it's a golden generation. Not so sure about that one, but a few decent prospects highlighted by Danny Hermel, who could be a good future right winger here at Lokomotive Leipzig. And we've gone for quite a few weeks off the back of that youth intake, and as you can see, we are about to play BFC Dynamo in our next game in the league phase. You might also notice our gap on top of the league table has been extended. That is because we picked up a win as expected in the game that we did play in between those ones. In today's episode, I didn't think it would be much of an exciting game taking on bottom of the league, even though it was away from home, albeit we didn't actually score a goal from open play in this game, which is a little bit concerning. Both of our goals came in the first half through penalties. Thankfully, Sasha Fifa did put them away, and we did pick up a 2-0 win. A little bit disappointing. We didn't score from open play, but thankfully still picked up all 3 points, and that was a very good result because Energy Cottbus, they dropped points with a 0-0 draw, and that came against Lichtenberg, who currently find themselves all the way down in 15th on the league tables. That was a very good result for us. Now 9 points clear with only 4 games left in the season. It does mean with a win in this next game, if Energy Cottbus do drop points, we could secure the league title in this next game and also promotion up to the Free Liga, thankfully as well. No injury concerns off the back of those most recent games, albeit, as you can see there in the team news, Sasha Fifa did pick up a yellow card during the course of that Lokomotive game, so it does mean he is unavailable for this one against BFC Dynamo, and this could be a very interesting one. Of course, we came from 3-1 down late at home early on in the season to pick up a 3-3 draw against these guys, and this time we are away from home, albeit they have not had the greatest season despite the fact they were one of the pre-season favourites for this division. Now they are down in 11th, albeit coming to this game having picked up points in their last 4 games off the back of a 1-0 loss to Energy Cottbus, but hopefully we can pick up 3 points here and give ourselves a chance of getting promoted up to the Free Liga, as well as getting that league title as well. And we'll come back shortly with team sheets and hopefully get right on the verge, if not secure promotion up to the Free Liga as we travel away to take on BFC Dynamo. And here are the team sheets for the second game of today's episode. The BFC Dynamo, as I said, coming to this one, having not lost in their last 4 games, they are going with a 4-4-2. In terms of us, obviously a change at right wing. Ogbidi does come in for the suspended FIFA. Also, Saluski back, now being available for a full 90 minutes. He comes in for Linus Zimmer at left back, and hopefully we can pick up a win here. And as I said, give ourselves a chance of getting promoted up to the Free Liga. And a very early highlight in this one, just 1 minute in, it's a free kick here for the opposition, but we head that one away through Lucas Search and Ricardo Grimm in a very good position here to start off a counter-attack. Picks out Ogbidi down that right-hand side, now in there for Heinke. Tight angle, gets a shot off. Goalkeeper makes a save, but straight into the path of Osman Tilgan. Sneaks that one in at the far post, and that is a brilliant start here. Away from home already, we take a 1-0 lead, and hopefully now Energy Cottbus can get held in the other game, and it might mean that we can secure the title with a few games left. Good work there on the counter-attack, and Tilgan from a tight angle off the back of the initial shot tucks that one away. It's a brilliant start to go 1-0 up early. And there's a bit happening early in this game up to the 8-minute mark now, and it is a throw-in to BFC Dynamo. They try and play their way out here from the back, albeit they are right around the halfway line. Now Seebeck is on the ball, starts to make his way forward. Triple tackle there, and we do get ourselves in a little bit of trouble. Thankfully, though, that ball played forward for one of their strikers is a little bit too strong, and Isadogan can come out and claim that one. Now it's pumped deep, and we get the ball back here through Abdulrahmane. Big chance here. Vorziani tries to chip that one over the goalkeeper. Just a touch too much on it. It comes off the crossbar, but a good start. Still 1-0 up. And just shy of the 20-minute mark, we get our next highlight in this game. Yet again, starting off here with a free kick to BFC Dynamo. Seebeck. Nice ball forward there. We nearly get that one back through Eagle Zeta, but he does lose out on possession. Thankfully, though, they play that ball into the mixer. It takes a deflection, and Search does eventually clear that one outside of the box. We play a ball forward there looking for Ziani, albeit he might have been offside, so doesn't go for that one immediately. And BFC Dynamo here do get a chance to play out from the back. A ball looking there for Birch over the top, but thankfully Search is able to deal with that one now. Ziani does get in behind. He tucks that one away, but unfortunately was offside. So again, looks like we're on the front foot in this game early on, but still 1-0 at the 20-minute mark. And unfortunately, Energy Cottbus have also just hit the lead. And only a few minutes off the back of that goal being ruled out for offside, rightfully so, we get the ball back here down our left-hand side through Abdulrahmane. Now Tilgan with a shot from just outside the box. That one, though, scooped well and truly over the bar, but certainly looking good here in the early stages, but still only up by 1-0. And nearly inside the last 5 minutes of this first half, for the first time in this game, BFC Dynamo look like they're on the front foot. They get a corner, and Lay here at the far post puts that one away. And that feels a little bit harsh so far. We have well and truly looked the better team based on highlights in this game. But a set piece, and Ray here gets up nicely there and puts that one into the top left corner. And just like that, that makes it 1-1 late in this first half, albeit one more highlight here, potentially a free kick in our favour as we look to get on the attack, try and play that one forward. But Ricardo Grimm can't quite get there. Hopefully, we can get the ball back here and launch one more attack. Thankfully, Ernesto does win that one in the air. Now Abdulrahmane plays that one forward to Ziani. Back there for Ricardo Grimm. Good 1-2. Big chance there, and he was onside, but again, Ziani puts that one just wide. And I think that will do it for this first half. We played pretty well for most of it, but unfortunately that corner with 5 minutes to go in the first half does mean we go into the sheds locked up at 1-1. And at the moment, I think that would mean Energy Cottbus would close that gap on us back to 7 points on top of the table, albeit off the back of this game, it will only be 3 games left in the season, so still would be right on the verge of lifting the title. We'll make a few subs here at halftime with Lucas Search on a yellow card. David Urban can come on for him. Also Saluski only on a 6.4, so Linus Simmer can also come on for the second half. We'll tell the guys not happy with how that did go in the first half. Hopefully be a bit more clinical in the second, get things back underway, locked up at 1-1. And just shy of the hour mark, we get the first highlight here in the second half. Leon Heinke there was a bit forward, and he did try and get something going there on the edge of the box down that left-hand side, but was just squeezed off of the ball. And now it is BFC Dynamo who start to get on the attack, and they get a chance here on the counter. Beck squares that one nicely for Sujic, or Suljic I should say. And Issa Dogan, I think, should really be saving that one from just outside the box. He should have got a pretty good clear picture on that. It's a good counter-attacking goal from BFC Dynamo, much like the first one that we scored in this game. We did try and stop them. It was a bit poor defensively, but Issa Dogan should have got down sooner for that one. That is a goal we definitely could have avoided conceding, but with about a half hour left in this one, we go 2-1 down. And only a few minutes off the back of going down by a goal in this one, I do feel like it might be time for us to make a few substitutions. A few players out there, quite a few of them, not performing that well today, not doing badly at all, but certainly we could improve from the bench in this one. So I think we're going to take off Ziani for Zizek and also take off Leon Heinke for Zach Polo Piplica. There'll be 4 of our substitutions used. Hopefully that bench impact can grab us an equaliser in this one. And just making our way inside the last 20 minutes of this game, we do have a throw in here. It is inside the opposition half, albeit they do win the ball back here, do BFC Dynamo, and start to try and do something here down this right-hand side yet again. Does feel like these guys might just be a bit better suited to our style than some other teams in this division. It's been a pretty even game so far. You could even argue we've had the slightly better of it based on stats, but they have been a bit more clinical in front of goal, not helped by Issa Dogan in that previous highlight with the counter-attacking goal. Ricardo Grimm here, just outside the box with a shot. Unfortunately puts that one just over the bar. And with 15 minutes left, still 2-1 down. And only a few minutes off the back of that most recent highlight, just checking on player fitness, and Ogbidi at right wing is down to a red heart, so we'll make our last substitution. Dom Blubber will come on for him, not his usual position, but with FIFA suspended, don't have many other options out there. We'll also go attacking and hopefully grab an equaliser with around about 15 minutes left. And only a few minutes off the back of that last substitution, it is now a free kick here to BFC Dynamo, but thankfully we did win it down that left-hand side or our right-hand side, but now they get on the attack here. Do BFC Dynamo a good chance, but thankfully they put that one just over the bar. We're looking a little bit shaky as we do go attacking, but for now, we are still 2-1 down into the last few minutes of this game. For the first time in the save, a red injury, so we can bring out the rigger.
Yeah.
Because Osman Atilgan has picked up an injury, and that is not ideal as we do go searching for an equaliser in this one, especially as he was the player who did score that opening goal. So because of that, we are going to have to shuffle things around here a little bit. We'll try and put Ricardo Grimm a bit more centrally. We might just expand the tactics screen here so we can actually do that, but the game at the moment doesn't want to play ball, so we'll do this, and we will put him centrally in that midfield role. We'll also put a few more players onto a more positive duty, so hopefully we might be able to grab an equaliser in the last few minutes of this game. Also go a bit more wider in attack and also tell the guys to be more expressive. As you can see, based on stats, pretty even game, but unfortunately less shots on target, a lot less shots on target, and it does mean we are going to suffer our third defeat of the season, our second one in reasonably quick succession. Hertha Berlin only a few games ago, and now BFC Dynamo, and that does give the chance now to Energy Cottbus to close that gap on us down to 6 points on top of the table. Only 3 games left in the season though. You'd still think we should be getting promoted up to the Free Liga, but that was a poor performance. Certainly should have had a lot more shots on target. Might be time for some chance conversion training. And as you can see, Energy Cottbus, they did hold on for that 1-0 win, bit of a tight one, but that does mean now the gap on top of the table has been closed to 6 points with 3 games left. Starting to get a little bit nervy, but hopefully we can still wrap up the Free Liga title off the back of a 2-1 loss at BFC Dynamo. And back in the inbox off the back of that second game, in today's episode, a frustrating 2-1 loss there at BFC Dynamo. Fair to say those guys might have our number, one of the few teams you can say that about in this division. Also, of course, we need to check in on this injury to Osman Atilgan. He did pick up late, and he will be out pretty much for the rest of the season, even considering the fact we do have 2-week gaps in between each of our games. At this stage, with sprained knee ligaments, out for 6 to 7 weeks. Don't think he will feature for the rest of this season, so that is an injury we do need to deal with in this run home, as we do just look, I believe it will still be for 4 more points to secure the Free Liga title. But now things just get a little bit more interesting off the back of that loss to BFC Dynamo. As I said, as long as we can pick up 1 win in these last 3 games, I still think it should probably be enough with our goal differential, but 4 points would make absolutely sure of it. But that will do it for today's episode. Of course, we had a decent youth intake in terms of players with a fair bit of potential. Picked up 2 wins over the course of today's episode, but then that 2-1 loss to BFC Dynamo does just make things a little bit more interesting going into our last few games of the season, which will be coming up in tomorrow's episode. If you enjoyed today's one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow and pick up where we are leaving today's episode off with our last 3 games of the season, all of them against opposition who are quite decently placed on the league table, teams who could make life a bit tricky for us. In the last 3 games, we take on Berliner, then Chemnitzer, and if we need to, also Karl Zeiss Jena, but hopefully by that stage we might have already wrapped up promotion up to the Free Liga. Otherwise, that could be a very interesting game. Also worth noting, 2 of those last 3 games are at home as well, which could help us out in comparison. A quick look at what our title rivals run home does look like. Their last 3 games, they take on Hertha Berlin 2. Those guys currently in 4th, so that could be a tricky game, especially because they are in some very good form at the moment. Off the back of that, they take on Rot-Weiss Erfurt down in 13th. in their last game is against TB Berlin in 14th place. So I think it's fair to say their run home might just be a little bit easier than ours, taking on two teams down the bottom half of the table. But still, we really should just need one good win to make sure we do gain promotion to the Free Liga and win the Regional Liga Nordos title. So hopefully we can get that done in tomorrow's episode. And until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Thought I could do this, laugh through the sadness. Don't know how